Sleep terrors. It had been lurking for a while now, maybe days or weeks. This sort of shadow thing. I don't remember when it started, but I see it every night when I lie in bed, when I wake up from my sleep. The creaking of the floorboards and the flickering of light as it stands there at the foot of my bed, staring directly into my eyes. It used to terrify me to the point that I couldn't sleep anymore, because I knew it would be there again. Sometimes I could only see its silhouette, and sometimes I could clearly make out its stocky short form and strange horns. After a while, I became less aware of it, and I could sleep again. It didn't harm me yet, so I didn't need to be worried, right? My perception was off the night I decided to get some actual sleep. I woke up to the pitch black of my room, and with a sudden sleep-induced panic, immediately tried to locate the shadow that has become so familiar to me. However, I couldn't even move my limbs, let alone speak. My body felt heavy like lead, but I could see it sitting on my chest, closer to me than ever before. I noticed the hollow of its eyes, and my hazy mind wondered if it could see. The sounds around me suddenly seemed much louder. The ticking of the clock at my bedside echoed through the room. I struggled to breathe for felt like hours before I started to count the passing minutes. 1, 2, 3. I closed my eyes and tried to will the shadow away. When I opened them, it was still there. 4, 5. I could breathe again, and my limbs finally woke from their numb-induced sleep. I peeked at my clock. It was 3:35 a.m., the most ungodly hour anyone could wake up at. I glanced back at my chest, where the creature was resting, and looked it dead in the eye. "Don't you have something else to do?" I snapped, suddenly finding my voice again. A deep grumble, then a multitude of voices said, "You haven't been sleeping well." You don't say, I replied with a grumble. As if it wasn't this demon's fault all along.
We apologize. Humans are usually not aware of us,
it said. Well, I am. It wouldn't hurt to let me get some actual sleep, I huffed. Maybe it was just a manifestation of my sleep-deprived mind, and it would disappear once I finally got those golden 8 hours of sleep. Reality hit hard when the weight on my chest shifted. Right, maybe not a hallucination after all. For all the terror I felt up till now, for all those sleepless nights thinking about this creature, and it turns out it wasn't it at all, because here I was, conversing with it like I would with an old friend. I suppose it was like that now. I would sometimes throw leftover cheese balls at it when it lurked in the corner of the kitchen. Maybe that's what made it attached to me in the first place.
That wasn't our intention. You're the first human we've talked to like this,
it said, ignoring my rudeness. It's alright, I replied, a little unsure of what else to say. At this point, I wasn't going back to sleep anyway. It certainly felt a lot friendlier and less scary now that I thought of it as a nosy roommate, rather than a terrifying eyeless creature that liked to watch me sleep. It would be nice if you got off my chest. You're suffocating me there, friend, I added, hoping it would move away by itself, so I could finally feel like I don't have the lung capacity of an 80-year-old.
friend.
He repeated the word, like tasting it for the very first time. I didn't realize before that I let that teasing word sleep. I put on a smile, praying to whatever gods above that I didn't offend it. But it brightened up, its form bouncing off my chest in a playful like prance.
Yes, friend can do that. Friend can do a lot more too. We can eat anyone who gives you trouble,
it exclaimed with a little dance around the room as I sat up, caught a glimpse of its sharp smile, and quickly shook my head. "No eating anyone, please," I said. For a moment, I considered the demon and its wish to help me, which was just about as strange as talking to it in the first place. "You're a demon, so you must know about others of your kind," I hummed, eyeing it curiously.
Yes, Many are different from our kind, but we know them well. We don't think you'd like them very much.
I could perfectly imagine why, I thought as I stared at the demon's form. I don't think so either, I mumbled. Wouldn't be so strange asking a demon for writing advice on demons, would it? What do you know about writing? I asked to shake off the queasy feeling in my stomach. A demon's input on my story would be interesting. Perhaps it was silly, perhaps in some way I was cheating, but an opportunity presented itself, so why not take the chance?
We're not very familiar with it.
It answered as it jumped onto my table. I stood up and took my blanket with me, carefully sitting next to it at my desk. That's alright, just tell me what sounds good, I replied with a smile, trusting it knew more about demonic matters than I ever could. The shadow demon shifted to sit behind me as I typed away for the rest of the night. Before I knew it, this became our new routine. We would sit at the desk on cold evenings, blankets wrapped comfortably around the shoulders, with cocoa in hand as we wrote a story that became uniquely ours.